Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, something a little bit different tonight. Instead of the usual live from the garage, what I wanted to do was set up a premiere, which is what you're watching now, so you can still chat with each other, and show you the presentation that Noel Willcox did at Boxmoor Lodge when I met up with him. It was, policy and a little bit of Q&A from the assembled audience. Good turnout actually. So have a look now, see what he had to say, and it gives you a real feel for reform and, you know, what they're all about from one of the people. Enjoy, and don't forget to hit the like button. Go.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for turning up today. It's very humbling to see you all here giving your support to Reform UK. We're at the beautiful Boxmoor Lodge in Hemel Hempstead. This is the constituency that I am representing. Ladies and gentlemen, the harsh reality is that our country is absolutely falling apart at a rate of knots. We have potholes in the road. You cannot see a doctor. You cannot see a GP. Crime is escalating out of control, despite what the left wing say. The lefties will have you believe that there's nothing to see here in Hemel Hempstead. Well, the crime statistics at the moment are absolutely extortionate of violent and knife crime. It is spiralling out of control. We need reform, and we need radical reform of all of our public bodies that are here to serve you and represent you. One thing about me, ladies and gentlemen, I will not stand for corruption or dishonesty in any shape, manner or form. There's an ongoing case at the moment, and believe me, this is not going to go away, of furlough fraud, where a whistleblower has come to me with congruent evidence. I have never seen so much compelling evidence of a local establishment of fraud in my life. And this is all your money, ladies and gents. This is your money. And when I look around and I see the potholes in the roads, I see hedges that are overgrowing. We pull up on slip roads. There's bottles of urine that are on the side. There's rubbish everywhere. Our country is deteriorating at a rate of knots. And we need every single person, despite what the media say, in Hemel Hempstead to vote for me. Right, ladies and gents, over to you. Have anyone or any of you got any questions or any burning questions on policy that you want to ask me? Anything, far away.
Will Reform MPs get a free vote all of the time, or will they be subject to the whip?
Free vote. Yes, that's what we stand for. Absolutely.
So you will vote for your constituents in Hemel,
yes,
rather than what the party line tells you to do. Exactly. Hence why I love that question. So what I have devised are my own local policies. Then if I'm elected, I will go to Westminster on the mandate that I have been elected on. So the mandate for you, the people, that I will take to Westminster is to freeze immigration, to stop the boats, and to raise the tax threshold to £20,000. Which is going to help significantly with the cost of living crisis that we're seeing at the moment. Winter is around the corner. God only knows under Labour where we're going to be. So that is the mandate that I will take to Westminster if I'm elected by the people.
Assuming, hypothetically, you don't get elected.
Yes.
What is your plans as a Reform candidate for the next 4 to 5 years before the next general election?
Well, if I don't get elected, what I will still do and what I will campaign on is whoever is elected to hold them accountable to the decisions that they're making. At best, what we're hoping for, Labour is going to get in. They are, yeah. And that is the harsh reality that we all have to face right here, right now. What sort of majority they're going to get, I genuinely don't know. My own personal belief, I believe that Reform is going to get about 20 to 40 MPs. 20 to 40 MPs is a significant voice in Westminster to represent each and every one of you. That's the way that I see it. 20 or 40 MPs can make a lot of noise. I also do believe that George Galloway is going to cause Labour significant damage as well with the Workers' Party. Now, I don't agree with a lot of George's politics. However, he is a very, very good politician and he understands the political terrain. And we're already seeing Labour starting to drop in the polls. I think it's great. Keir Starmer doing interviews. Let's get Diane Abbott out there. Let's get them all out there because not one of them can answer a single question. If I said to Keir Starmer today, God, it's a beautiful, lovely, sunny day, would you agree, Keir? Well, I don't know. I've just got up and I haven't even looked out of the window yet. That is the sort of response that you're going to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any more questions?
So you plan basically on staying very active in reform regardless of your elected position?
I've been, yeah, I mean, listen, I've been unelected and so far I've exposed the child maintenance scandal.
Yeah.
That is looming. That is a huge issue that is looming. If you've got any interest in the post office scandal of what's happened, when you look at the child maintenance scandal, and I suggest that each and every one of you look up the James English interview that I've done, and you will see what is happening. It's scary what's happening with this state. The heavy-handed approach of the state. The post office scandal, they were just people like you and I who were just going to work, sub postmasters, going to work who were given fictitious debts and being forced to pay them with extreme enforcement powers that the state has, the overbearing state. And the child maintenance service is almost the same, but on a much, much larger scale. ULEZ, the low emission zone, that's how I kind of came into the public spotlight, when I identified that the road signs in London are not compliant with legislation. Guess what? Guess what happened in our wonderful democratic country? My case, every single case, public case, goes onto their archives. Guess what? It was taken down. It was taken down, and all of a sudden, now Transport for London has special authorisation. Special authorisation to authorise their own signs. That is absolutely crazy. Where is the separation of powers on this? So the judiciary cannot override Transport for London signs. This is what is going on, and this is exactly what Reform are absolutely standing against. We want to reduce the size of the state. We want each and every one of you to have a choice, to have your freedoms. Anything else?
Do you think they'll lower the retirement age in UK? Because it's been raised to 67 for women. I should have retired this year and I can't. I'm going to work another 7 years.
Going on.
Well, for my own personal...
And I think that's terrible because they're basically stealing our money, stealing our country money.
Well, one thing that the left keeps saying all the time, and it really, really winds me up, yeah, is the mess that we're in is because of an ageing population. That absolutely disgusts me, and I think it's disrespectful. I think it's absolutely disrespectful because each and every one of you has contributed into this society. I, for my own personal view, when you're collecting your pension, I would not want to see you taxed on that. I would absolutely love it if the retirement age came down. Exactly.
And they keep putting it on, but by the time you're nearly dead, basically, that's what they want. They want to pay out.
100%. What else kind of troubles anyone? Crime? The escalation of crime.
What would you do? Obviously, at the moment we have as long as it's under £200, knock yourself out, help yourself to what you want. My son used to work in the Marlows, and gangs would come in, JD Sports, and literally just come in there, intimidate, and walk out with half a dozen pairs of trainers.
Yes.
My view. What's your view on that? On this £200 limit, what would you change, and how would you go about it?
Right, for me, the law is the law. Whether you steal a sandwich, whether you steal a mountain bike, the law is the law. The law does not specify anywhere in there that there's a £200 limit that you can go and help yourself to a load of ribeye steak, walk out the door, and there's nothing that anybody can do.
No, but this is a police unwritten law, isn't it? That they won't attend crimes for under £200. So how do you go about changing it?
Right, well, firstly, okay, I mean, there's a much wider problem here, yeah? The first thing that we need to do is review police and crime commissioners and the job role that they have, because the police, when the police was set up to be independent, hence why it was a police force. So what's happened is now we have police and crime commissioners who are elected on their political beliefs, and they're bringing in political policies now into policing. So I'm sure that these police and crime commissioners somewhere have said, oh, we are not going to attend a crime of theft if it's £200, because I know many police officers who have said that this has just filtered through the system somehow. It's just absolutely crazy. So in my view, theft is theft. It doesn't change. You can't put a price on theft. And definitely us at Reform, we have said, if you commit the crime of theft, you will be dealt with appropriately.
No limit.
No limit.
Okay.
Absolutely no limit at all. So that, ladies and gents, is very, very significant. What we're seeing in London, the way that the Metropolitan Police are behaving, is because the London Mayor is the Police and Crime Commissioner. So you're bringing politics and your own personal beliefs into policing. It's never going to work, is it? It's exactly the same as what we're seeing in the Channel at the moment with illegal immigration. Probably not a lot of you know this. Serco were given a 10-year contract back in 2020 for £4.6 billion. So illegal immigration was never going to end, was it? Not when they've been given a contract for 10 years to house these people, to pick them up in the Channel and bring them in. Hundreds upon thousands, tens of thousands of undocumented men, predominantly of fighting age, are being ferried in, fed and watered. And ladies and gentlemen, even if I have to go, if you elect me, if I have to go into that Channel myself and get in boats with the Royal Marines to stop these people, I will do that if that's what it takes. And I will personally make sure that these boats are taken back to France.
No, you won't have to, sir. I'll do it.
Brilliant, fantastic.
How do you physically do that, though? No.
Sorry, physically do what?
How do you physically turn the boats around if they're not turning around? If the French Navy is there escorting them over?
Right, okay. The French might get a little bit upset. We've said that. Yeah, they might get a little bit upset, but we've given them £500 million, so what have they got to be upset about? So, what we would do, what I would like to see, is what we did in Syria. Okay? So, obviously the coast is a vast coastline. To police it would take astronomical resources that we just don't have. So what you could do, I mean, our Royal Navy's deployed everywhere, by the way, but it's not deployed where we need them. We're fighting everybody else's war, but we're not stopping people coming over into our country illegally. So what I would like to see is the Royal Navy deployed here with the Royal Marines very, very quickly. As the boats are coming across, you deploy the Royal Marines by using, very simple process, drones. So wherever you see these vessels that are going to take off, Royal Marines deploy on rigid raiders, you're not going anywhere. You open up the fuel tank, put sand in the fuel tank, that's the outboard motor done. That can't be used. The French stabbing these boats and piercing them means nothing because the outboard motor still works. So they'll just bring another one in, put the outboard motor on it, and off they go. So that's what we've got to start doing, is opening them up into the fuel tanks, putting sand in there, it wrecks it. And it's safe. That's the main thing, it is safe. But ultimately, these people have made the choice. We keep hearing about safety, and of course, yes, it is about saving lives. I get that. But these people are the ones who have made the choice to make that journey in these vessels that are just not fit to go across. So the right thing to do is to stop them before they come across.
Absolutely, but the French aren't going to let the Royal Marines be.
But we will just do it. What are they going to do?
We'll have a row with the French. End of story. We've done it for years.
What are they going to do? Are they going to declare war on us?
I think things will change. I think things will change soon.
Marie Le Pen will be different.
If you stop at the end of the day, the areas they launch from are Dunkirk and Calais. If you stop the boats there, then there's really no reason for the migrants to come through France. France has got its own problem. I've been to Paris recently; it's an absolute crapper. So there's no reason if you stop the migrants actually be able to come across, and they're only coming across at Dunkirk and Calais. If you stop them there's no reason for them to go through France. So actually, it's in France's interest to sort of them to be turned back. And France deports what 85% of illegal migrations.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not as though it's a problem they can't deal with and haven't dealt with. We just haven't had the political will to step up and do it.
Nobody has got any courage whatsoever to be done, to do what needs to be done. We will do it. And as I said, if Nigel Farage, Richard Tice, Ben Habib, all of us and David Ball have to get on and stop these people, we will make sure that happens. Because, fantastic. Because this is not about race. This is not about racism. This is not about all of the things that we keep being told about. This is about doing the right thing and stopping these boats from coming across. It is destroying our... I mean, people keep saying, the left keeps saying to us, where's the £355 million that has been promised for the NHS? Well, I'll tell you where it is. I'll tell you where that £355 million is. It's in the hotels, where these people are living the life of luxury. They've got no bills to worry about. They don't have to worry about being fed, watered. Why is it that our veterans, probably 10,000 veterans, are sleeping on the streets and they're homeless? And we can't put our own veterans, the men and women who have gone out and fought for this country, are just completely overlooked. That is just wrong, ladies and gentlemen, in my eyes, and it's completely wrong. Anything else? Yes.
On that subject, I appreciate the moat house isn't in your constituency, but there are a lot of illegal immigrants apparently being housed in Hemel, in and around Hemel town, which the local MP informed me before was actually out of his jurisdiction. It comes direct from the government, and the council have no say in who they house and where they house. So on a local level, what do you intend to do if you get elected with the places that are housing these people? And also, as a side note, I don't think it's a thing about courage over the channel. I think it's a willingness. I don't actually believe anyone does actually want to stop them at all.
I
because
totally
it feeds into their narrative that it dilutes the population and causes division, basically. And if you have division, then you have control.
Yes.
If you have division, you have control. So on a local level, I mean, I know Andrew Bridgen up in his constituency fought very hard and got the hotels emptied. Are you going to be able to do that with the places that they're filling up in Hemel? And obviously those places should be going to more local people, and they're not.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my pledges locally, is that the people of Hemel Hempstead must be prioritised for housing. That is my first pledge locally. Exactly, coming back to your point, in terms of the fact that the Home Office, sorry, I'm just waiting until... In terms of the Home Office sending illegal immigrants, absolutely I would campaign to stop any of that. Yes, and I would fight extremely hard that the illegal immigrants that are already here in Hemel Hempstead, that they will be removed. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
That's all right. Kev, I'm not. Lovely men. In the town centre, leching over all of the young girls that are currently going through. Mothers are extremely concerned about their children in that town centre, one being robbed or sexual offences. Also, sexual offences has gone up now in Hemel Hempstead and St Albans by 51%. That is unacceptable, ladies and gents. I will make the police do something about it. In my opinion, if you are not a registered British citizen, you are deported. That is it. End of. If you come here and we do not know who you are, you should be deported. Well, no. Yeah, wanting to meet you. Country of origin is where they. Well, they'll just go back on a plane. We'll get them back there.
I think the difficulty is they destroy their papers.
Then they would be.
offshore
know where they're
processing
going. Yeah,
is
they
what we
don't-
have said.
Yeah, they don't know where to send them back to.
Yeah, we've got. Sorry, can I
didn't
just
I-
answer one question?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. What we're going to do is open up offshore processing centres for these people.
Ah, that's it. Sorry,
that's
it.
That's what we're going to do. Now, when I wrote policy on this, one of the places that I did suggest would have been Cyprus, because we've got sovereignty in Cyprus, which would mean that we would override all this European legislation. Also, the facilities that we've got in Cyprus, we've got the British military there. One of the camps that's there, Bloodhound Camp, would be absolutely ideal. It's got toilet facilities, it's got catering, it's got absolutely everything, but it's a secure compound. These are only things that I can suggest. These are not policies, but these are things that I can only suggest if I'm elected.
How would you deal with, obviously, in terms of the illegal migration, in terms of the men coming over, or some of them, who claim to be minors,
Yeah.
and then local authorities would have a duty under the Children's Act to house them, when they're clearly not minors, but they're claiming they are minors?
Well, then I think what we need to look at is that anybody who's coming across, the burden of proof lies with them, doesn't it? So if they're destroying their documents before they get here, and we can't distinguish their date of birth or whatever it might be, then straight away they will be processed in an offshore processing centre. Got rid of. At the end of the day, there's no law here that says that we have to accept these people. We don't. Despite what the left keeps saying to you about all these UN conventions and this and that, they have entered the country illegally. We have our own sovereignty. We are entitled to stop these people from coming in. If they enter this country illegally, we are also entitled to deport them. That is the law, ladies and gents.
There's only one way of doing it. No. They got,
Political courage and political will.
yeah, they've got to be stopped in the channel,
Yes.
crossing that line. Our
Do
borderline
it for
goes
2 weeks.
over France.
Do it for 2 weeks, I guarantee you will stop
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, 2
Yeah.
weeks.
2 weeks, we stop the problem.
Yeah.
The French will do something about it. Richard.
What about the actual trade itself, which is probably one of the worst crimes that you can possibly think of? So, you know, the traffickers.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was tongue in cheek, but one politician said, I can't remember who it was, he said he would send the SAS over to France to have a word with these traffickers, because they know, we know who they are. They're almost doing it blatantly. Why are they left to do it?
So you see, Labour's plan is to attack the traffickers. Now that's when you're going to get into a jurisdictional nightmare.
Right.
How are you going to deal with the traffickers? How can we implement our laws on French soil?
No, there'll always
We
be
can't.
another trafficker.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a
But he would put them
lucrative-
off, wouldn't it? At the moment, there's
Not for the amount of money, no, they'd risk it.
How
They'd somewhere
you
else to
put them
start.
off?
Control the channel.
Yeah, I suppose.
I view it the same way drugs. Yeah, that's the same way that I view it.
Well, yeah.
We've spent billions upon billions upon billions of pounds trying to combat the drug industry. Yeah, and we haven't been successful, have we?
No.
What was your price?
But that's because we're the consumer. So if you stop the consumer, yeah, the traffickers have got no business. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you take the market away, that's it. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
makes us
true.
a
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And you've only got to show them you can do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like child sex trafficking. Then
And
take the
after a
market
month,
away, there'll be no PMs.
It will stop.
Yeah. If you couldn't get strawberries in Asda, no one would stop in it. You know,
Yeah.
it's,
It-
it's,
And
Exactly,
also
so you
stop
cut the head off the
any of
snake.
the English going over with hordes of food for them.
well,
Don't you think this whole thing is coming from higher up though? I don't believe the government can't stop them. I believe that they don't
They
want
don't
to stop
want
them. It's some kind of plan.
Yes.
It's not just our country.
Yeah, it's
exactly
everywhere.
every country.
Worldwide.
They
Something's
don't
going
want
on.
to.
Something's got to be going on.
They don't want to stop them. And as I just
No.
just
They
before
want-
you came,
And I say I think the government wants them here.
It's like the whole thing is planned.
It's absolutely, they're inviting them here.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
They're
very
very
raiding
much.
and betting it. They're not just allowing it. They're bringing them in.
I think you're partly right.
Yeah.
The
They
bigger
want- they
picture is
want-
to
they
end
want-
democracy. That's the bigger
They
picture.
want to change the demographic of Britain.
Exactly.
it's about rigging democracy.
well, Europe.
You see it in most.
Europe as well.
You
You've
see
only
it in
got to read
America with most
Douglas
socialists. I think.
Murray's books. Definitely.
I think one of the main issues for me here is the fact that our own military has been decimated by the two-tier political system. Yeah, and I keep saying that because all I see with Labour and Conservatives, one will just pass the baton to the other.
and one will just carry on the policies that are already in place at the moment. Yeah. So what does deeply trouble me is the fact that our military has been absolutely decimated. We have vehicles that are barely roadworthy. We're down to 72,000 troops, yet we're bringing undocumented men
We're bringing an army in. They're forming an
Yes.
army. That's
Yeah.
what's probably
into the
happening.
United Kingdom.
Can you repeat what you said about Serco? What the amount of contract they were given to house these people?
£4.6 billion contract.
Why would
Also,
they do that if they don't want them here?
exactly. So they were given, that's exactly my point. They were given a 10-year contract of £4.6 billion, Serco.
Yeah.
Who is Serco? Well, we all know who Serco is. Serco used to be, the CEO was Rupert Soames, yeah? Winston Churchill's grandson, Nicholas Soames. It's just all drinks for the boys, ladies and gents,
Yeah.
but it's with your money.
Yeah.
Serco were bought in, test and trace. When the army was deployed throughout COVID, Rapido, the army were on top of it because I was mobilised. When COVID hit, I was mobilised. We were on top of the infection rate. We got it down to literally zilch within 3 months. But that didn't suit the state, did it? It didn't suit the system. So what did they do? They sacked off the army, they brought in Serco, who completely messed the whole thing up. Why would you keep giving government contracts to a company that is known for failure? Also, back in 2006, 2007, the City of London Police prosecuted Serco for fraud. Because what were they doing? So they had the tagging contract. So when prisoners were being released, they were tagging them. But what were they doing? They were still charging us, the people, who are paying for it. They were still charging them for dead prisoners.
Wow.
So they got done for fraud. Please.
Different subject. What's your views on net zero and the expenditure that might involve?
Absolutely quality question. Net zero. Net zero is just going to make us all poorer. That is the bottom line. That is the only thing that I can say on net zero. So why is it that the United Kingdom, Great Britain, is the lead element, or one of the lead elements, on net zero when we produce 1% of the global emissions? It makes no viable sense whatsoever.
It does if you want to destroy the country. It makes total sense.
It does if you follow
Yeah.
the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes
Absolutely.
no viable sense whatsoever. Why are we importing all of this energy? Why are we not self-sufficient? This is the reason why we voted Brexit. So we are self-sufficient, a self-contained island. We're dependent on everybody else. The war in Ukraine should never have affected us because we should have been self-sufficient. So all that's going to happen with net zero is going to make us all colder. It's going to make us all poorer. We're going to bring in these heat pumps that are coming in that don't work over 6 degrees. So we're all just going to sit there freezing cold. In the winter, the majority of the time, what around sort of January, February, we're normally about, 2 degrees? That's at the warmest. I know that from the construction industry.
No, just Labour have actually put, if you look at their manifesto, which I can struggle to do so, but I hate this net zero. It's one of my pet hates. But I looked at their budget and it's $5 billion a year. Just one of Starmer's wind farms is going to cost way in excess of $5 billion, just way over that. And if you think he wants to put them all over the country, the actual total is hundreds of billions. Where is that money going to come from? They put in $5 billion.
Come from your pocket.
Well, he's going to have to take our savings. He's going to have to do what Trudeau has done to Canada.
The most alarming thing about net zero, who voted for it?
Yeah,
Who voted
exactly.
for net zero?
More alarming, who instigated it?
Exactly.
BlackRock, Vanguard, that's who instigated it.
Exactly.
Well, they've moved away from
Does
it
that
now.
answer the question?
But May got it passed as
no
legislation, didn't she?
Back to locally.
Yes.
We're looking at you.
Yes.
Locally.
Yes.
I know everything's going on in the country, but
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
I wish I could solve
locally.
all the problems, but
Right.
yeah, locally.
Locally then, and on the back of net zero with cattle emissions, which which we all know is a load of rubbish.
Yes.
I don't know how many farmers you have in your would have in your constituency, but how are you going to support our farmers
That's a good, very good point.
locally with cattle farmers, if there is any, and more importantly, food growing farmers? Because obviously they want to take the shortage of food to our level so that we can eat their bugs, etc., etc. And the farmers have really got a raw deal over this, and they're fighting for themselves. They don't get any coverage. So locally, if you have farmers, I don't know if you do in your constituency, how are you going to help?
Do you know what? Do you know what? Under the new boundary changes, I've lost the majority of the farms, unfortunately, because we had Pot and End, we had like a lot of the rural kind of areas, but under the new boundaries, we've lost a lot of those farms, unfortunately. However, what I would say is, which kind of comes into our economic plan, with what Nigel has been bleating on about, that we have nearly 8 million people who are refusing to work in the United Kingdom. So you will be offered 2 job offers, and if you refuse to take them, your benefits will cease.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So to what you said there, if I was dealing with that, then what I would do is visit those farmers and see how I can support them, because farmers currently, they have massive labour shortages. So that would be one viable way that we could kind of feed people back into work. And by us raising the tax threshold to £20,000, we are going to make work pay. Now, when we say, and we need to be very, very clear about this, we are not going to go after people who are disabled. We're not going to go after people who need our support. We're going to give them more support. Because I joined the army because I was very, very proud of the fact that we look after our vulnerable, we look after our needy, and we look after people who need our help. But one thing that I did not join the British Army for was so that people can abuse our system. That is wrong, ladies and gents, and that is what we are going to put a stop to.
Well, there you go, folks. Went over his intentions, policy, and everything else. And, managed to answer some questions from the assembled crowd, and was honest, answered what he could, as well as he could, well informed, and it was great. It was a great day. Now, on Tuesday, I'm going to be doing another live stream with Paul Webb, who's the Reform candidate from my area. We just agreed that this afternoon, so I'm going to set that up again. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.